We are talking about the nervous system in this unit. Now, all animals, with the exception of sponges, do have a nervous system, and that's what allows them to interpret and respond appropriately to some sort of external or internal stimuli. Um, Even our simplest of animals still have a nervous system. However, theirs is not going to be quite as complicated as ours is. They have something that's called a nerve net, in which they have their neurons kind of crossing over the entire organism, and it looks kind of like a spider web going throughout, but it still allows them to respond to that stimuli. Now, as the organism gets more sophisticated, so does the nervous system. And that's when we start to see this division of a central and a peripheral nervous system, which is what we have. I'm going to go ahead and flip the screen over to an image so that way you can jot notes down as I am discussing this picture. All right, in this image we have a diagram of how the nervous system is split up. We're going to start off on the left-hand side, which is the central nervous system. The central nervous system contains just two things. That's going to be the brain and the spinal cord. However, those two things are incredibly important in how we respond to stimuli. So the brain is going to provide that integrative power and allows us the capability to respond. And the spinal cord is what's going to basically connect everything throughout the body. So everything runs through the spinal cord, and that's what sends those messages in and out of the brain. So there are a lot of different types of neurons in our human bodies. So I want to talk about two specific types before we move on to the peripheral nervous system, and that is our afferent and efferent neurons. What that means is when our body receives an outside stimulus, such as if I hit my arm, that is going to send the message through the peripheral nervous system up to our central nervous system, to our brain, and back. Well, what we will call that is our afferent neurons are taking that message from the peripheral nervous system towards the central nervous system. And then the efferent neurons are sending that message back out. So we'll usually receive that message in our sensory neurons, and then it's sent back out to our motor nerves for a reaction. The way to remember that afferent neuron versus efferent neuron is think of it just like in English when we're looking at affect and effect. Affect with an A is something that is going to cause a reaction, and then effect is what is caused, is that outcome. So that's the same thing. Afferent is sending it up to the central nervous system to be processed, and efferent is sending it back out, is that effect of what the brain decided on to respond to. So now for the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is broken into two main parts, which is the somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. Our somatic nervous system is what's going to carry any signals to skeletal muscles. So that is our voluntary movement. So being able to run, to walk, those sorts of things are going to be the somatic nervous system. Our autonomic, think of it, automatic nervous system, it's what's happening in our bodies without us necessarily telling it what to do. So our autonomic nervous system regulates our internal environment in an involuntary manner, and basically just controls all of our processes that need to occur in order for us to live without us thinking about it, such as breathing and our heart rate and those things. Our autonomic nervous system is then broken down into the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. The really cool thing about this division is that they are complete opposites of each other. So our sympathetic category is our fight or flight response, and our parasympathetic category is what people often say is your rest and digest. So this is where your body is going to return to just its normal self-maintenance functions. So what's going to happen when your body decides that it needs to be in that sympathetic category is your heart rate will accelerate and your digestion will actually stop. But when you return to your parasympathetic division, your heart rate will slow back down, digestion will continue. It's complete opposites in these two divisions. And there you have the breakdown of the nervous system in the human body. It's very important to know each of those categories and what those categories control and how they respond to certain stimuli. Please let me know if you have any questions on that.